Shadow work. What you refuse to look at doesn't disappear. Trust and believe, it just starts running things behind your back. Now, let me say this up front. I know shadow work sounds like something that comes with candles and hashtags. It's not. Take away the packaging, and it's one of the most practical disciplines a leader can have. The shadow is just this. Every part of yourself you had to hide to be acceptable. The anger that got you labeled too much. The ambition that got you called selfish. The need that made you look weak. The softness that wasn't safe to show. Now, did those parts die when you buried them? No, they did not. They went underground. And what's underground doesn't stay quiet. It operates. You've seen it operate. That reaction, that was 3 sizes too big for the moment. That colleague who irritates you way beyond anything she's actually done. That cutting remark that came out of your mouth in your own voice, and you thought, where did that come from? That's the shadow. That's the part of you working without your permission. Hear me on this. You buried those parts to survive rooms you're not even in anymore. But buried is not gone. And unwatched is not harmless. What the shadow actually is, every childhood home, every early job, every family sent the same message. This part of you is acceptable, that part is not. And you complied because complying kept you safe. What got you buried depended on the room you were in. For a lot of us women, it was the anger, the ambition, the appetite, the need to be taken care of. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. The shadow holds treasure too. The boldness that got punished. The brilliance that made somebody uncomfortable. The big voice. The big vision. The shine. Buried right alongside the rage. Have you ever felt that sting of envy watching another woman take up room? That sting is a map. It's pointing straight at something of yours that got buried alive. The shadow is not your worst self. It's your whole self. Edited by rooms that couldn't handle it. How you do the work? You don't fix the shadow. You take it back the same way you take back any ground. You walk it, you map it, and you put it under your command. Start with projection, because projection is free intelligence. The people who trigger you beyond reason are drawing you a map of what you buried. When she strikes you as arrogant, ask yourself, where am I not allowed to take up that much room? When his neediness disgusts you, ask, what did I do with mine? The rule is simple and is humbling. If it just informs you, it's about them. If it inflames you, it's about you. Then track your ambushes. Every reaction that was bigger than the moment gets written down same day. 4 lines. No editing. What happened? What I felt. What I did. What it touched. You are not journaling just to journal. You're gathering intelligence on yourself. And the patterns show up fast. Most women find the same 2 or 3 buried parts behind a decade of overreactions. Then talk to the part instead of punishing it. When the anger rises, before you shove it back down, ask it one question. What are you protecting? Anger is almost always guarding a boundary you were never allowed to have. Envy is guarding a desire you were never allowed to claim. The feeling is not the enemy. It's the messenger. Shoot the messenger and you lose the message. And do this on a schedule, not just in a crisis. Shadow work you only do when you are bleeding is triage. 10 minutes with your love once a week. That's patrol. And patrol is what keeps the ground lit. What you get back? First, your energy. Suppression is expensive. You've been standing guard over those buried parts for decades, and you feel the cost as tiredness you can't explain. When a part comes home, the guard comes off the wall. Women tell me the same thing over and over. I didn't know how heavy that was until I put it down. Second, the ambushes stop. A trigger you met can't run you. The anger still shows up, but it shows up as information, not possession. You get that half second between feeling and action. And command lives in that half second. Third, your full range. The recovered anger becomes the clean no. The recovered ambition becomes the ask you finally make. The recovered need becomes the ability to receive help without shame. And the recovered shine becomes the room you finally take up. Integration is not becoming somebody new. It's getting all of yourself back. You are not doing this work to become nicer. You're doing it to become whole. And the whole woman is very hard to run. Helping others walk theirs. Now, if you lead, coach, or mother anybody, hear this. You cannot take another woman further than you've gone yourself. Her shadow will trip every wire in yours. If her anger scares you, you will teach her to suppress it politely, supportively, and completely. Your own work is your license for this work. There is no other credential. And when you do walk beside someone, remember, you're holding the lamp, not the shovel. You don't dig, diagnose, or drag anybody into their dark. You ask the questions you've learned to ask yourself. What are you protecting? Who taught you that part was unacceptable? What would you do this week if that part were allowed? And then you do the hardest thing. You stay still steady while she meets what she meets. Your calm in front of her buried parts is the loudest message that those parts can be faced. One more thing, and I mean this: never weaponize the map. The moment you use someone else's shadow against them in a conflict, a review, a family argument, you taught them the burial was correct. Read people to serve them, or don't read them at all. Keep it honest. The leadership piece. 3 things keep this work on the road. First, the shadow explains, it does not excuse. That was my shadow is a report, not a pardon. You still repair what your unwatched parts did, and then you do the work so it doesn't repeat. Accountability is what separates shadow work from the shadow alibi. Second, know your limits. Shadow work is the ordinary buried parts: anger, need, ambition, shine, where there's real trauma in the ground. That's work for a trained professional. And calling one in is not failure. It's calling for the right unit. A good leader knows what her own kit can and cannot treat. Third, watch what you're bearing in other people. Every time you punish an emotion on your team, visible frustration, open disappointment, ambition said out loud, you're giving the same order the old rooms gave you and building shadows on somebody else's books. The integrated leader makes it safe to be whole in her presence. That's the quiet revolution of this work. It stops with you. The coaching chair. Come sit with me for a minute and bring the person who irritates you the most. Just in your mind. She has work to do here too. Look at her honestly. What exactly is it? The thing she does that you cannot stand. Say it plain. Too loud, too needy, too ambitious, too soft. Now the harder question, and take your time with it. Where does that same thing live in you? Owned or buried? When was the last time you allowed yourself even an ounce of it? Now go further back. Who first taught you that part was unacceptable? What role? What face? What sentence? Notice that you were probably young. And notice that the burial work, it kept you safe, light, chosen. Thank that girl. She made the best decision she could with what she knew. Then tell her what she couldn't have known back then. The war is over. The room has changed. The part she buried is allowed to come back home now. One last thing before you get up. Which buried part, if it came home this week, would change how you leave? That one? Start here. What part of you is still serving a sentence for something that was never a crime?